What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and I just got done doing my Atlanta United review, all the 3 games that I missed, and I've just realized we are in the month of July, so might as well talk about some transfer window stuff, because we have gone through a full month of June where transfer window stuff has been happening. I don't think everything was finalized until July the 1st. I'm pretty sure that's when officially contracts could be figured out and stuff. I don't really know all the details. But there have been a lot of rumors floating around. There has been some business that Chelsea has done. So let's talk about it. First of all, we did get one signing in. Well, two, but one of them was a youngster that I have no idea about. So not really going to talk about that. But we did get our first signing in. Willie Caballero got released from Man City, coming to us. We did sell Begovic. So honestly, I don't see a downside here. I mean, Begovic was not the best keeper. I think when he came in, he was a lot more solid, but sitting on the bench for so long, I think he just dropped in form. And so he leaves not really great. I just, whenever he played, I was always worried because I was worried there were going to be mistakes. I was worried he's just not good at making saves. Something about that, he just doesn't really move very well. So we managed to sell him for $10 million to Bournemouth. And then on top of that, we get Willie Caballero in for free. There's no downside here. We get a keeper who comes off of having played first team football for most of the second half of the season. Bravo was playing so poorly that Caballero ended up stepping into first team. So he comes off having experience. He comes off as a great second choice for Courtois in case he gets hurt or red card, whatever. He's a good choice. On top of that, we're going to have a lot of games because we've got cup games and then Champions League. So Caballero is going to have chances to play. He's going to have a lot of chances to play. And I think it's a good bit of business for us. I think we get rid of a keeper, we've managed to sell him for a good bit of money, and then bring in one for free who's probably better than the one we got rid of. That's great, in my opinion. On top of that, we did do some business getting rid of players. We've made a lot of money, which I don't really want to complain about too much, but there are a couple things that I do want to talk about. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the list really fast of all the players that we've gotten rid of so far. So I probably should have done this before I started the video, but I'm really slow. Okay, that's not the one I wanted. That's it. Okay, so Cuadrado goes to Juventus permanently. That was kind of something I think has been in the works, and I think they finally officialized it recently, so that's not bad. Atsu officially joins Newcastle. Again, not bad. I think he's a player that we brought in when he was younger and had a lot of promise and had a lot of speed, and then just never really panned out. And Newcastle used him effectively last year, getting promoted in the Premier League. So it's fine. They didn't say how much he was sold for, so that's unfortunate. But another good bit of business there. Begovic, already talked about. Solanke goes to Liverpool. Here's the thing. I don't mind letting Solanke go. I don't even mind letting Solanke go to Liverpool because I just don't. I've watched him play at the youth level. He's had a couple chances, in preseason to play for us. I never really saw that thing that strikers are supposed to have. That like Costa has, that kind of finishing quality that a striker should have. I never saw that thing that made him stand out. Most strikers have something. Aguero has incredible speed and good footwork. Costa has a lot of strength and a surprising amount of speed for somebody as big as he is. Giroud, great header of the ball. Ibra can finish with pretty much everything. Trying to think of another one that stands out. Kane, he can finish with everything. And on top of that, he's a pretty good dribbler as well. So all of these strikers just have something that stands out about them to make them special in some way. I never saw anything about Solanke that made him special. So I don't mind letting him go. He's not really a huge loss as far as our youngsters go. But we let him go for free. That's the frustrating part for me. I think we probably, even though he's not a special striker, he's still good. And I think because of that, we probably could have made some money off of him. So the fact we just let him go and especially to Liverpool, where if he turns out all of a sudden to hit some sort of growth spurt in the next couple of years and becomes incredible, we let him go for free. That'll be disappointing if that does happen. I don't see it happening, but you never know. Kiwamiya, youngster, probably somebody you don't even know unless you follow the team adamantly. Like pretty much the only reason I even heard about him was because Football Manager playing on there. I'm like, oh look, youngsters. There's one. Traore, I'm kind of on the fence about because I think he did have potential, and I think he was young, which made him even more exciting. I think the one thing that still is kind of like why I'm okay to let him go is because he wasn't really a striker that will fit into our system. We need a striker up there who is not only good with their feet, but also strong. He wasn't really strong. He was just really, really fast, and I'm not really sure if he could play with his feet. I think he could a little bit. I didn't see him really breaking into the first team anytime soon. On top of that, we sold him to Lyon, not even in our league. So yeah, I don't really see a problem with that. I think it's a way for us to make some good money off of him, especially because who knows, in a couple years he may just kind of drop off and we may not be able to sell him for anything at all. But then we do get to the last one, and the one that I will complain about the most, and that is, of course, Ake to Bournemouth. Now, don't get me wrong. Selling our young 21, 22-year-old defender for £20 million, that's a lot of money for a defender, especially at that age. So I understand that. I understand that Bournemouth broke their transfer fee to get him in. But he's good. I mean, I've talked about the entire second half of the season. I talked about how I thought he should start over Cahill because he does so much more defensively. He works harder. He's quicker. He's still strong, even though he's so young. I just don't understand why we're going to sell him. Now, we did put a buyback clause in there, so that is smart. That's something we didn't do with a few of our players like De Bruyne and Lukaku that are now kind of, we would probably take them back now if we could. So putting a buyback clause is smart. It is something that's like, okay, at least we have that. So if he continues to grow and he gets even better to the point where, okay, now we want him back, we can. But still, I think getting rid of him, I think he could have been effective for us this season. I think beyond just the fact that he was a good player, I think his versatility to be able to play left wing back or center back or even center defensive mid, I think he's a player that can play pretty much anywhere defensively. And we're just going to get rid of him like that. I don't know. Mainly because it seemed like it was a player that Conte wanted to utilize. He's a player, he brought him back off of loan from Bournemouth because he thought he could utilize him, and now we're selling him very first summer after that. So I guess the buyback clause is in there to show that we still do value him and we still would probably want him back at some future date. But I just hate to see him go right now whenever defensively we don't really have a whole lot of cover. So that is the one that I am upset about a little bit, even with the buyback clause, but I assume there's some sort of plan here, and that does kind of segue into the transfer rumors because we have been linked with some center backs. Bonucci was obviously the one most talked about because he used to play under Conte at Juventus, played under him at the Italian international leagues or international stage. So obviously a player that Conte wants, a player that he thinks he could get fairly easily as long as Juventus are willing to sell him because of the personal relationship he has. But doesn't seem to have panned out. I think Juventus are asking for more than he wants to pay. And then we turn our attention to Van Dijk, a player that pretty much a lot of teams really, really want because of his first half of the season performances. The funny thing is, and this is why I'm not really full force on Van Dijk, second half of the season, I have to wonder if maybe the talk went to his head because I'm watching him second half of the season and he's not nearly as good as he was first half of the season. In fact, I put him on my fantasy team halfway through the season and took him off a few weeks later because I'm like, he's playing terrible now. Like, he's completely ineffective. They can't keep a clean sheet to save their lives. What happened? I think he did get kind of a big head and like, oh, all these clubs want me. I'm I'm the hot stuff now. And yeah, it affected his performances. So I don't really know if I want him at our club. Uh, Obviously, Liverpool were highly anticipated to pick him up, but then were accused of tapping him, and so they kind of had to back off. And I know we offered for him, and I think that Southampton accused us of tapping him as well. So I don't know if maybe they're just trying to do whatever they can to keep other teams from buying him. Uh, but I also find that very funny considering Southampton sell most of their good players anyway. But I don't know. He's a player that if we got him, I wouldn't totally object, but I wouldn't really be all for it either. So the final one that we've been linked with, though, is Antonio Rudiger. Younger defender, probably going to be worth a lot less than Bonucci or Van Dijk. I can't remember where he plays. I think it's Roma, but he did just win the Confederation Cup with Germany, so looks solid. In fact, there was one moment early on in the game where Chile looked like they were through, and then he slides in, makes a great tackle. So he looks like he has potential. I'm not really sure how old he is. I could probably look it up, but that would take too long. But I'm pretty sure he's younger, which gives him more potential to grow and become a better defender. But I mean, hey, he looks solid. Let's get him if we can. So that's about it for the defenders. The center backs. As far as our wing backs are concerned, a lot of talk has been who are we going to get there because we really don't have much backup. We've got Alonso, we've got Moses, kind of got Kennedy, but I don't know, really haven't been talking a whole lot about him. I haven't heard much about, is he going to play there, or is he going to play up top, or what are we going to do with him? I haven't really heard anybody talking about Kennedy, which I do find kind of disappointing because I think he has a lot of quality for somebody so young, but obviously the big talking point for wingbacks has been Alexandro. A lot of talk that we're going to get him, a lot of talk that we've officially confirmed we've got the right amount, we're just trying to agree personal terms. I don't know, I've heard so much about we've signed him, we just have to finish up paperwork and such. Until I see it pop up on the Chelsea website that we have officially signed somebody like it did with Caballero, I don't really put a whole lot of faith in these rumors. Even the Bakayoko, which I'll talk about in a second, all of this stuff, all of this talk, you never know how much of it is true and how much of it is there's a little bit of something that's like, ooh, that's all we need, let's run with it. Like Rudiger. At first, the only reason he was linked with Chelsea at all was because David Luiz posed in the new Chelsea outfit and he liked it. He's going to Chelsea, guys! It's confirmed right there. He liked David Luiz's picture. He's going to Chelsea. Come on. So the whole Sanders story, I mean, it sounds like we did offer for him. It sounds like they did accept our offer, and it sounds like we are talking to the player now. But I don't know how much of that is rumor, how much of that is true. But, from what I hear, he's a good player, and we do need more cover on our wingback positions because we really don't have much right now. And honestly, the other reason is I don't want to have Espilicueta out there because I think you need him in your back three. And I know that's going to be one of the things Conte's going to try to do is to get him to be a wingback when I just think he's such an effective player at center back. So I would love to get some more wingbacks in just so Espilicueta doesn't have to get moved out of position. But that's pretty much it for all the defensive stuff, from center back to wingbacks. Now up into the midfield, a lot of talk about who we're going to get there, whether or not we're going to sell Matic if we get Bakayoko. As far as Bakayoko goes, I don't know a whole lot about him. I know, obviously, Monaco had a very young, very good, talented side this season. I know he was at the center of a lot of it. Now, if he does come in, there's a lot of talk that we are going to sell Matic, probably to Man U, because Mourinho wants to reunite with him there. I wouldn't totally, I don't know. I'm sure there are a lot of fans who are like, no, we can't sell Matic to them. That's selling one of our best players to one of our rivals. Here's the thing. I think Matic has really dropped off the past 2 seasons. I know a lot of people disagree with me about that. One person kept commenting on my videos like, Matic isn't bad. You're just overcritical of him. Maybe I am a little bit critical of him, but the thing is, when you're in such an important role as center defensive mid, you have to be really good. You have to be on point. You can't be making a lot of silly mistakes. Matic was making some silly mistakes that were costing us at times. So I don't think it would be the biggest loss in the world to lose him. I think if he goes to Man U, it might be a little bit of trouble just because I think he and Mourinho do have a bit of a good relationship. I think he's one of the few players that didn't actually fall out with Mourinho when he was at Chelsea. So I would be a little disappointed there, but I think if Bakayoko comes in, I think that's, if that's enough of a reason to get rid of Matic, it's up to Conte. I wouldn't personally want to get rid of him yet because I still think he does have potential, especially considering we'll be in the Champions League. More backup. The more backup, the better. If we've got Conte and Bakayoko and Fabregas and Matic and even Chalobah, that's 5 central midfielders for 2 positions when you've got 4 different competitions to be in at once. That could be very helpful. So I'm hoping we keep a hold of him, especially some of the rumors I've heard about Chalobah going out on loan or being sold are true. I think Matic would still be an effective player for us, just maybe not playing him next to Conte. I still don't think the Matic-Conte formula really worked out very well. I think Matic and Fabregas or Conte and Fabregas would probably work better. And with Bakayoko coming in, who knows? But he is one that I've heard pretty much everything say that all that's left is just pretty much finishing up the paperwork. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things that when you read so much stuff about rumors and, oh, he's coming and, oh, they've agreed terms and they've agreed this and they've agreed that, a lot of it does sound like rumors. The Bakayoko talk, though, does seem like it is real. I'm still not 100% sure, but it's the one that seems the most likely out of all the transfer rumors going on with us right now. So it seems like he is coming in soon. Hopefully we get it done quickly so we don't have to talk about it anymore. We can just finish it up and be done with it. And then finally, up to the front 3, the attacking midfielders / striker position. Obviously, the biggest talk for so long was Lukaku coming in, is Costa leaving, all that stuff. So far, after all that talk, after all the talk of, oh yes, Lukaku's going to sign for Chelsea, oh yes, Costa's going to leave for Atletico or China or something, after all of that talk, nothing's happened. So I don't know if any of it was true or if parts of it were true or if some things were just embellished to make it seem like more of a story. But nothing's happened there yet. If we can keep a hold of Costa and if he still wants to play for us, great. I still think he's a very effective forward. Batshuayi, though, I think can be a good backup. Now, I still think we do need to try to get some sort of striker in. There's a lot of talks of this being linked with certain strikers. Lewandowski was the biggest name I think we were linked with as far as strikers go. Obviously, there's a bit of talk of Griezmann for a little while. But as far as strikers go, I haven't heard a whole lot aside from Lukaku. So I don't really know what options we have if we are going to try to get somebody else, if we are going to try to get rid of Costa or, agree to Atletico, okay, he's going to go play in January or something, I don't know. But for right now, that's about all there is as far as the transfer rumors are concerned. I haven't really heard much aside from Matic as far as selling players. Hazard and Courtois were obviously heavily linked with Real Madrid, but nothing happened there. Now I haven't heard anything about it for a while, so I think there are a lot of rumors going around, and I think the most important thing is don't always trust what you read. Do some research, or you can talk about it, you can theorize, ooh, what if, but don't necessarily say, oh, this newspaper said that Lewandowski's definitely coming to Chelsea, confirmed. Most of the time it's not going to be true, but it can be a fun discussion point. What if Lewandowski did come to Chelsea? What would that mean? Would we change our system for him? What would happen? That type of stuff I think is a lot of fun to talk about, and so talk about it to your heart's content. Just don't necessarily put 100% faith in that. But that's about it for me. Let me know if you guys have any other stories you've heard about us being linked with other players, about players being sold. I guess, okay, well, one more thing to talk about because it is kind of Chelsea related. Terry, I last read, was going to Aston Villa. I kind of like the fact that he decided not to stay in the Premier League. I also kind of wonder if that's because he doesn't want to have to play his former club anymore. I don't know. Could also be that he's looking at possibly being a manager there after he's done being kind of a player for one or two more years. But it's nice to see that he's going on to play somewhere else. You know, that was something where when Lampard left, it was like he went to Man City, but was sold to New York City, but loaned to Man City or something like that. I don't know. It seemed like he just wasn't really going to play somewhere else. It was like he's going to retire in the U.S., but wanted to spend one more year in the Premier League, so Man City wanted him for one more year. Terry feels a lot more official. Like he's going to play at Aston Villa, probably going to go coach there if he can. Um, but I don't know. It seems like it's a lot more official. Like he's going to go play somewhere more reputable than the MLS. I hate to say that about our own league, but it is kind of where a lot of the professionals over in Europe go to retire. You know, when they're too old to play in the top leagues. I hope we can grow into one of the better leagues, but for now, we are the retirement home for Europe. So, anyway, that's about it for me. Let me know, like I said, if you guys have any other rumors to talk about. If you've heard any other news that has or has not been confirmed, you know, whatever, let me know. We can talk about and discuss. Have a lot of fun with it because that's one of the best parts about the transfer market. It's so much fun to talk about this stuff. So, let me know what you guys think. Leave a like and subscribe for more transfer talk, you know, building up to the season. And I'll see you guys in the next review.